Hello everyone. My name is Mrunang Pawar, and I am a second year student at Srimati Kashibai Navle, College of Engineering, Pune. We are elated to bring to you yet another module of HTM Qubits, Quantum of Workshops packed together. This is the 25th session of the highly engaging HTM Qubits, and we expect this one to surpass the awesome response we have been getting for the past 24 sessions. This session is to get started with competitive programming. Are you one of those people who has always wanted to start competitive programming but don't know where to start? To guide you through this session, we have with us Devang Sharma. He is a Flutter developer and a competitive programmer with 4 stars ranking at codechef, as well as programmer specialist at codeforces. His experience in this field makes him more than qualified to guide you through this workshop. So, without any further ado, I would like to hand over this session to Mr. Devang. Over to you, Devang.
Thanks for the introduction, Ronald. So let me share my screen. So is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Yep.
Okay, I guess it's visible. So I'm not able to get the audio. Is it visible? Can anyone confirm? Okay.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, fine. So let's start with the session. We will be discussing about the beginning with competitive programming and what is competitive programming. Basically, we will cover all of those things in this session. So let's start with the presentation. Overview, like let's discuss all the topics we will going to cover in this session, and what are the things you will be getting to know about competitive programming and how to start with it. So first of all, what we will discuss, what is competitive programming and how it is different from normal programming. Before going to start anything, what I believe is we should know at least what is competitive programming or what that topic is, so that there will be some interest from our side in that topic, or we have some motivation to bring that up. Okay, so we will discuss what is competitive programming and how it is different from normal programming, as well as we'll also discuss why do we need to learn competitive programming, what is the need of competitive programming, why is there is so much hype regarding this, and why everyone wants to learn it. Okay, so after this thing, we will get to know how to begin with competitive programming, a roadmap, and the prerequisites, all the things we will be covering. And after that, we will be we will be looking at some of the interface of some of the popular coding platforms. We'll be looking how to submit questions on them, how to do practice, how to select questions, and all of this stuff. So first of all, let us discuss what is competitive programming. So as the name suggests, competitive programming means competition of programming, which means it is a sport of programming. Programmers from all over the globe compete at a platform to get their rankings, and what their ranking are based on, those rankings are based on your accuracy and your speed. Both speed, how quickly you think of a code and how accurately you can optimize, how accurately you can solve the problems. That are the criteria on which these coding platforms judges you and gives you ranking. So suppose you have solved a problem, the more high solved a problem in 1 second and 1 minute, and you have passed all the test cases, that means your problem is completely accurate and you are quick as well, so you will be ranked top. So basically, the quicker you solve, the more accurate you solve, the higher ranking you will be getting these coding platforms in these online contests. Apart from this, competitive programming tests your accuracy and your speed, as I told you, because in the competitive programming there are lots of test cases behind the codes. In general, we write codes for our normal programs, like we write some or any other complex program. We test it for our generated code sample inputs, like, okay, if we add 2 plus 5, it will give me 7. But in competitive programming, there are a lot of cases, like there may be negative numbers, like if I add 5 to -1, there will be also a case, so which should return 4. So all of these conditions have to be checked and considered while writing the code. So it gives us ability to think the worst case scenario a program can get, like worst case inputs a program can get. Apart from this all the stuff has to be done very quickly, as you want to get up, as you want to get above, ahead of your peers and your friends who are giving this contest. So also in competitive programming, we handle the worst case as well. As I told you, we there may be some cases when we are adding 5 to -1. Apart from this, there may be some cases like we are adding the maximum limits of the integers, like 65535 is added to 65534. So it will give integer overflow, so it we have to take long in consideration, like such things. All of these worst case things are also need to be handled. Like the programmer has to think of all these possibilities that can come in the code, and he has to think of all these possibility, and his or her code should work properly in all these cases. Apart from this, these things has to be done very quickly, both in typing as well as thinking. Also, competitive programming is not only simple problem solving. So we are making improving our problem solving skills, because in competitive programming we are given questions. In coding platforms we are given questions that are somewhat related to real life situations, generally hypothetical, maybe some situations which are hypothetical, but they are derived from real life situation, like the theory, concept, or the we can say a question is framed upon the real life situation, like frogs, chefs, or such terms are used. So they portray it to situations, and we convert that problem into a code which gives output, which gives the solution of that given problem in the code. We think all of these, we think all of the situations, we convert that into code. We develop problem solving skills. Okay, this is a problem, and we have to solve it using our power of code. So that's what competitive programming brings you up all about. Okay, apart from this, there are a lot of complex problems in competitive programming. So it also improves our neurons. It also develops new skills in us. It also helps to build new concepts in programming, because there are a lot of complex problems that may involve graphs or dynamic programming, such higher topics. So these things will also help us to grow or make our mind think like what we can do, and what all logics we can implement, and what are the other possibilities that we can use. And there are a lot of complex problems which may even require 2 to 3 days of continuous thinking to solve the problem. Okay, so let's take an example of competitive programming question, which is different from normal. Okay, so let's take an example of why this thing is different, and how this can be implemented in real life. So if you implement competitive programming in real life, well, you will be saying like, okay, it's not of a use. Where it will be using, like somewhere you have seen many people saying that, okay, we have studied sine theta, cos theta, a square plus b square equals to c square, where these things are implemented. These things are implemented, those who are using. But let's think of a common example of how competitive programming helps you. As I told you, you have to think of a quicker logic that should be taking less time in execution. Okay, so suppose you are sitting with your mom, and she is purchasing a bed sheet. Okay, online she is purchasing a bed sheet online, and you don't know the bed sheet, you don't know the dimensions of the bed sheet, what the bed sheets are, and the sale is going to end in 10 seconds. Okay, the sale is going to end in 10 seconds, and you have to find out whether the bed sheet is double bed or single bed. Okay, so how will you find out? In general, what a common man will do, he will generally go to the internet, enter the dimensions. Suppose the dimensions entered on the site are 100 centimeter and 90 centimeter. I may not also know, I don't know the exact dimension as well. For example, let's say the dimensions are 100 centimeter and 90 centimeter of the bed sheet. Okay, so you are two brothers, you are doing competitive program, and your brother is not. Okay, your mother asked to both. Your brother goes to Google and search for the dimensions of the bed sheet. He gets the dimensions of the double bed sheet, compare it with the current one, and gives the answer. Okay, so it will take some first steps, like first he goes to Google, enter the keyword, get the output, compare it with the current, and give the result. It takes 6 steps generally. Okay, but what you are a competitive programmer, you know how to solve problems accurately and quickly. So what you will do, you will see the problem that the dimensions are 100 centimeter and 90 centimeter. It somewhat resembles dimensions of a square. It's almost a square shape dimension. So you quickly get the dimensions, you analyze it like, okay, it's somewhat kind of a square, and you know that square, the double bed sheet is also similar to a shape of a square, but the single bed sheet is not. So you can quickly reply, okay, it's a double bed sheet. You don't have to surf on Google and all these things you acquire with constantly practicing with competitive programming, and you acquire with competitive programming and rigorously practicing on these things. So these are some of the cases. So like, let's take one another example. This example will be somewhat helpful for some those who have done a little bit of programming. Okay, so considering you know a little bit of programming, suppose you are given in most of the colleges, in the first semester, and the first 5 to 10 lectures, this question is obviously given when people have studied loops. So you have to count the number of digits in a given number. Suppose you are given 1024 as a number. So what you will do, traditional programming concepts, that will be, you will be dividing by 10, and till you can divide the number by 10, you will be increasing the counter of the number of digits, and you will return the final answer. So you will get 4 as answer. But in competitive programming, you have to solve the question quickly and accurately as well. So what you can do better? So as a competitive programmer, you may think I got input as 1024. The console line takes input as the format you want. It does not know it's a string or a number. So what you will do, you just take the input 1024 as a string and just return length of the string. It's the same. This is also the number of digits, and that was also the number of digits. But you took just 2 steps, and in the previous took, you just also took the half of the steps, and you are more quick. You are not more accurate. You are the same. You have almost same accuracy because both are correct. So you are more quick with the same thing. So that's what competitive programming is. That's what competition, it judges you on the basis of how quickly you can solve you and how accurately, correctly you can solve these problems. So as I told you, the difference between normal programming as well. So because in the normal programming, let's take some other differences as well. In normal programming, what you do, you have plenty of time. You can solve write the code on your own. You can put debug statements, you can write indentation properly, or etc, etc. But in competitive programming, in this generally in short context, in a span of 2 hours, you have to solve 5 to 6 questions generally. 5 to 6 questions in 2 hours, and the last ones are too difficult to solve in this time. So you have to write solutions of the questions very quickly. So you have to must have developed the practice of typing quickly. You must have developed your own macros to use for this competitive programming. So that's generally difference. And also in the time complexity in the competitive programming, as I told you, there is also a constraint in the question as well. You have to solve the problem quickly, but also there is a constraint on question as well. Like most of the question gives you the constraint of 1 second. That means you have to run all the program, you have to run the whole of the program in just 1 second. You have to execute all the steps and give all the output of the cases of around test cases of with the length around 1 lakh and 10 lakh or 1 crore sometimes. So you have to enter the all the execute all the cases in just 1 second. So you have to analyze the complexity of your runtime of your code. You have to analyze how much complexity we are going to take of n square of n, and on that basis you have to design your algorithm that must not exceed the given time limit. So that also you do in competitive programming, but not in general coding. You don't have issue of the time limit exceed because you have time. You can take 2 seconds, 4 seconds. Doesn't No one wants to question you. Or also the cases in general programming are not that high of around 10 to the power 8. Just for a fact, I will tell you, in computer programming, we consider a computer will perform 10 to the power 8 operations in 1 second. So that idea we will be using. So at this such a large cases want to be also present in normal programming that we use in do in day-to-day life. And also competitive programming is not dependent on a particular data structure. Okay, so suppose in the normal programming assignments, we teachers gives us, okay, you have to implement these things using this data structure, suppose stack or queue, or you don't have to use array vectors, you have to use array. These constraints are there. But in competitive programming, you are free to use any one data structure you want. You just have to give the correct output. The most you are comfortable with, the more optimized the data structure is, you can use that. No one is going to question you. Just the answer must be correct, and time must be in time limit range. So let's discuss some of the needs of the competitive programming now. Okay, why do we need competitive programming? What is the need of competitive programming? Why people are so much into it? Like, okay, there's a hype for competitive programming. So what we can say is, like, problem as I told you earlier, problem competitive programming helps your problem solving skills, improve your problem solving skills. You get to interact with a lot of problems that may be real life, that involves a large test cases that has to be solved in only 1 second or 2 second of time. You have to think of all the possible worst cases on your own. You have to all consider all these things and give the perfect solution of the problem using your coding skills. So that's why competitive programming helps to develop problem solving skills, and in real life as well. Also, in competitive programming, we optimize our space. We minimize the space use, because there may be sometimes the space complexity, space limit exceeded as well. But in most of the question, space limit is not the issue, but sometimes they may give you like constraint, you have to this use this much memory as well. So in this memory constraint as well, we have to design our solution keeping in mind, like it must not exceed the memory as well. Like if the memory is of O of 1, we cannot declare an array. Such things we also have to consider. Okay, So these things help develop gradually when you do competitive programming regularly. So these things eventually help you in job roles. How? Because consider a company who is hiring developers. Who will the company will hiring? The company will be hiring the one who writes the accurate code at once, most accurate code, most optimized code that can run the application in half the time that others can, or it can reduce the resources used of the software computer as well. Suppose you are Android developer, you will be thinking like, what is the need of competitive programmer for me? So suppose you're Android developer and you know the techniques of optimizing the code and space. So you are Android developer and your friend is also, but you also started to working on competitive programming. But now when you give interview, you showed your project. You and your friend have same projects, but your project is suppose tic tac toe. It is taking 9 MB of space, and your friends taking is 20 MB of space. Okay, so your is more optimized. The company will prefer you because they want their app to be less in size. And also your tic tac toe will execute start from beginning to main screen. It will take just 0.1 seconds, but your friend's code will take zero point 0.3 seconds. It's not that much, 0.3 seconds, but in company scenarios when the apps are at a very large scale, these things do matter. So that's why they consider competitive programmers and give problems to test their competitive programming or DS skills, so that they can judge how quickly and how efficiently he can code, or how space optimized he can code. Or when you do competitive programming, you get to know these things, and you have a practice of these things, so you implement these things as well in your regular development profiles as well. Also, the competitive programming is a regular game. If you skip competitive programming for 4 to 7 days, you will be facing an issue on the eighth day. But if you do practice it regularly, it will going to help you a lot, and it will also improve your programming skills. So it will also help you in practicing programming. And also, there are very much contests based on competitive programming that offer prize money as well. So these prize monies these prize money can be very large. Like there are some contests for Google Code Jam and local contests as well. There may be some prize money. You can also earn money from that by securing good ranks. On also, when you do competitive programming, you get some stars or ratings on various coding platforms. So these coding platforms can help you build a decent profile of your own on your resume. So let's see what are some of the prerequisites of competitive programming. Okay, what are the some of the prerequisites that you should have before going to competitive programming. Okay, so let's see. First of all, although a programming, so you must be knowing a language, programming language. First of all, if you don't know any programming language, don't be into competitive programming. There is nothing of your use. You can't do anything because if you don't know programming languages. So you should start with C++ or Java suggested, because these are fast. As I told you, there is a time limit of the questions, so these languages are preferred. You can also use Python, because some of the times there may be the chances they are having multiplier for the language, because Python is generally very slow in compared to C++. So they use language multipliers. So that thing also you can use, but at least you must be knowing programming languages, and the preferred language is C++, because most of the solutions or tutorials or codes are available in C++. You can take help from that, and it's also fast, very fast. That's why many people use C++. And after learning C++, I'm a programmer of C++. I know about don't know about the similar library in Java. It's something like utils or something. I don't know. But in C++, there's a library called Standard Template Library. You must be knowing this thing before if you want to go ahead in competitive programming. STL is a set of functions. Is a library with a set of functions that has various functions that can help you. Like if you want to do sorting, there is some code you want to write. But if you know STL, you can just write sort function, sort this vector, and it will sort the vector automatically. You don't have to write the whole code. You can use vector instead of array if you are using STL. There are containers like map key value pair, in same as dictionaries in Python. There is a map in STL, defined in STL in C++. There is a set which stores unique elements. There are a lot of things in STL that you can learn about, and these things will help you a lot in solving good level problems in competitive programming. Now, the third one is DSA. I made a cross here. Yeah, it's a cross. It's not a mistake, by the way. So I just told you to get your attention to here. DSA is not necessary at the point of starting. If you are thinking that I will complete the DSA first and then I will jump into competitive programming, you are not in the correct way, I guess, because you can learn DSA along the way, because the easier problems are not that tough or not that data structure based. These are simple ad hoc problems. You can use your mental skills or math skills to solve these problems, but on the go, whenever you're stuck at some particular data structure or something, you can also learn that thing as well, because there is no end. You can't end something like, okay, my ds is complete and nothing is left. There is no such end anytime, so it won't complete. So I will suggest you to start along with coding. So start solving basic level of questions. Whenever you stuck, you find something difficult, you can visit the data structure algorithms on the internet and check it out. So okay, so let's we will discussing the roadmap. What the roadmap we can follow full starting with competitive programming. Suppose I'm considering you are a proper beginner, you don't have any experience in competitive programming. So what should we will be doing? Okay, so what should we will be doing in this scenario? So first of all, I will suggest you to go to HackerRank, a website which I'll be showing you in the later part of the presentation. I'll be showing you what HackerRank is and where you can solve the questions and where you can find the questions, all these things. I will suggest you first of all go to the HackerRank and complete the questions. Not complete, do at least 50 to 80, 70% questions of the C++ section, so that you get comfortable with C++, or at least get 5 stars in C++. It's not that difficult in HackerRank, so you can get that very easily. Just solve the questions there, so that it will help you to cope up with the online judge scenarios, because it will online judge won't ask you to enter a number and you are going to enter and not this thing. There will be an input, you have to take it input accordingly and give the output according to the question in the same ditto way the this mentioned in sample output. So these things you can learn on HackerRank very easily, because the interface is very good and the test cases are generally visible, so you can see that which test case is wrong and what you have printed. So it will help you boost your confidence and improve your skills. So first of all, visit HackerRank, get some practice on C++, then start learning STL, standard template library. You can find the containers or functions or algorithms of STL in Geeks for Geeks, or you can just simply Google or YouTube, and you will get a lot of videos and content on standard template library. You just can go and check this out. You can figure out what are the containers and how to implement this. You just have to learn how to implement this at first. You don't have to know the exact implementation right now. You may learn it in future if you want to do. You just have to know, okay, how map is implemented and what it is and where I can use the map. Okay, after you learn STL, wait for the codechef long challenges. There is a codechef long challenges every month in the beginning of the month, which is a 10-day long contest, and it has 10 problems. You can solve any all these 10 problems, or any how till you can score the level you can achieve at your pace, or whatever you can say, your mindset. You can score solve as much problem as you want, and start solving these problems on 10 days. But don't solve with cheating. These days very people are getting solutions from Telegram, and that's not good. That profile won't help you in anywhere. You will be having a good profile, but you will be stuck in an interview. That will create a very bad impact on the interviewer, and there will be lesser chances. So just go to codechef long challenges and visit, start solving questions from first to last. Okay, put your mind on these questions all day. You can think of that question solution, put a code, make some test cases. You may be getting wrong answer, you may be getting TLE. Just optimize the code, just recheck it, and see the changes what you can, and eventually you get an accepted answer. So it will help you a lot. And after that, still if you don't you can't solve it, after the contest is over, there are video tutorials out by codechef and some other YouTubers as well. And also the written editorial is also out by codechef, that is mentioned in the below the question. So you can check those out and you can see how this question was actually solved, and you can learn the concept and remember it for the later. After this codechef long challenges, you can also solve codechef short contests, which are organized 2 in a month. For beginners, there is a starters also, and there is cook off and lunchtime. You can participate in this 3 hour long contest and solve the questions in the same way, but the time duration is low, so you may be getting less time to solve the problems. After this, there is a site named the Codeforces. The questions of the Codeforces are slightly higher level than CodeChef, so you can take your time. After getting comfortable on CodeChef, you can visit Codeforces and solve the contest, participate in contest and solve the contest on the Codeforces. You can register there and give the contest, and all on the same way they will be rating you they will be rating you and giving you ranks based on your performance this contest. And those rankings and ratings will help you build your profile as well, and your skills also will improve. And most important thing is learning. Learn from the mistakes you made, learn from the new concepts you are going to learn from the things you don't know, learn from the things that others did after submitting a solution. If your solution was not accepted, or if it was getting time limit exceeded, so you can check out from the solutions from the others as well, what others are doing, what they have did, how they thought this thing. You can mug up on drill those things, like how this person got idea to use this approach, why not me? If you mug up on these things, or if you put your mind on these things, it will help you a lot in building the concepts and getting a good rank in competitive programming sites. Okay, so so now let's discuss interfaces of various some of the coding platforms. So we'll be having first of all HackerRank. We'll be opening HackerRank in this page, so that I will be, yeah. So it's the interface of the site HackerRank. Okay, so once you visit this, there's a practice sections. You can check out on anything, any skill. You can check out on any skill which you want to acquire, or you can test your knowledge on data structures, algorithms, C++, and these things. Suppose, as I told you, you have to complete the C++ section, so that you get comfortable with language parts first of all. So you can go to C++ section, click here, and all of the problems will be available here. You can see the problems by the difficulty tag. You can choose difficulty, you can choose the domains, stl, classes, strings, or anything that you want. There is a difficulty as mentioned here. You can suppose click on a solve a contest. There will be a, suppose this kind of problem is mentioned there. This is a problem. Okay, suppose real life something problem HRML whatever with the question. You just have to read the question, see the example input. Okay, how to I have write and how to give the output. So there is an input format and there is an output format. This is the input format, how the input will be given and output will be given. They also give you sample input and output, like this is the sample input and this is the sample output. You have to analyze all these things, and you also have to analyze the constraints, to analyze about the time limit they are providing you, so that you can use these things to analyze the time complexity using O of n square or O of n cube kind of scenarios. You can use these all of these things in your solving problem solving. So here you can see in the practice section there are problems, you can use them in C++ section or C section. You can solve the basic problems. It will help you to get comfortable with the online judges. Now see one other uh, coding site, that is HackerEarth. HackerEarth has like it's nowadays having used a lot in hiring platforms. So here you can do what you can do is when you visit hackerearth.com, you can move ahead to the practice section. Suppose you want to visit to the practice section, and there are a lot of programs as well, same as HackerEarth. So, okay, there are basic programming, data structures, algorithms, math, online programming, and a lot of stuff. You can simply head on to any of the sections. Suppose I want to learn data structures, so I click on data structures. The best part is they will explain you a lot of theory. They will give you all of the theory desired to solve these questions, and on basis of this theory you can solve questions that are mentioned here in the problem section. There are a lot of problems. You can check any of them and you can give solution to that. If you know, like, okay, I can do this, you have to click solve now. And in the solve now section, what you can do is you can just read the problem, input format, output format, and the time there is, as I told you, there is a time limit of 1.5 seconds, and the memory limit is 256 MB. So these things also you have to put into consideration while designing O of n square or O of n solution. That solution you have to design on your own. So how will you know which solution is perfect? You get to know with the practice. At least it must be fit in your time. So here you can, after you are comfortable with HackerRank, you can check out a few topics here and topic wise questions here, so that you can get comfortable with the some more high level questions. And after that you can move to some real or reputed competitive programming platforms, like one is codechef. Okay, so this is codechef, and this is how it's look like when you visit. So in this codechef, when you click on this compete section, it will give you the list of all the future contests or all the current contests. Like there is no active contest in the present, but these are the practice contests, and these are the future upcoming contests, and these are the past contests, like the contest which happened, and these are the contests which are going to happen. These, like today is the contest around 7:30 p.m. on the cook-off, codechef cook-off. Okay, and this is the July challenge. This is the long challenge that I was telling you, from 2 July to 12 July, and it's the 10-day long coding contest with 10 questions in it. You can pick any question, any contest you want. And suppose we just visit to June challenge. you just visited June challenge, you will be the beginner, so you will be moving to div 3. So this is type of list you will be getting of questions. Suppose you want to solve, this is the first question, it has the highest number of submissions, that means this is the most easy. I click this section and I read the problem. There's the input format and output format, these are the constraints, and here the time limit is mentioned. Here's the time limit is mentioned, like 0.5 seconds you have to execute whole program. And also if you want to view the editorial, here's the link of the editorial as well, and here's the link of video editorial as well. Okay, so you can check it out. If you don't understand in case anything, you can visit that part as well. So that's the case. And if the code chef, you can see the problems, and after that you just have to click on submit practice button. This is the practice button, but like what is won't be mentioned with practice. You just have to write a code here, select the language, and just click on the submit. Okay, so that's the thing you can do with the code chef part. Now let's see how you can see the problems, how you can see the real-time problems which we can which we should do to practice. Okay, so here's the section in practice and learn. There's a section named as practice problems. Like just you want to click this practice and learn, you will visit to end up getting this place. Here is the some tags of the problem, like beginner, easy, medium, hard, challenge, or peer. Okay, so beginner problems are these problems that are code step problems, and you can solve any of them whichever you want. Suppose I want to solve the lead game, I'll be clicking this, and this is the same way. I can click on submit and the problem will be submitted. And apart from this, there is a section on successful submission and accuracy. You can sort these results on the basis of number of successful submission and the accuracy people are giving. So if you sort this on the basis of successful submission, what it will give is it is sorted in ascending order. You can see there's a slight arrow pointing upward. That means it is an ascending sorting. So for this thing you can just see the successful submission. Like this is the toughest problem in this section, we can say, because least people have submitted. Suppose I have again clicked it, so it is sorted in descending order. So here's the problem ATM, that is solved by maximum number of people, that is solved around 1.5 lakhs people around. So yeah, so that is the problem that we can say most easy in this section. You can click on the problem, make a code, and put a submission. You should definitely try this once you are comfortable with language. You should definitely try these kind of problems. When you are stuck, you can learn further what are the things. So this way you can search the problems in the code chef and you can start solving them, and it will help you build your profile. That you can see there is a section of rating. There will be showing the maximum rating here, like the 1864 is mine. So these are the bands that are provided you on the basis of the ranks you get, or the ratings that improve or decrease of your profile. Depends upon the number rank you got in the contest. So this is the 2-star rating, and this is a 3-star, and this is a 4-star, and such things goes on. Okay, so you should start solving with codechef as soon as you complete with basics of C++ in HackerRank with the 5-star. Then you can start move yourself to codechef, and you can give live challenges on the codechef, and that will help you improve your rating and your confidence. Okay, so that's thing about codechef. Now let's move to our another side, that is codeforces. Okay, so this is the interface of the site codeforces. There is also a contest here in the codeforces after just 2 hours. Anyone interested may visit. So in the codeforces, this is the interface. Some people might not like UI at the very first because it's not that good, we can say. Beginners don't find it very interesting. So after this, what you can do is, here also the contests are organized. You can see that contest section. In the contest section, there are various contests going on. Like you have to just register there first before 5 minutes at least. After 5 minutes you won't be able to register, you get a penalty of 10 minutes. After that you can solve. So you can just register on the contest and you can see the problems and solve the problems same way I am telling you by giving an example of previous contest. Suppose this contest I want to enter. These are the problems sorted in A to EF level. The problem on the top is the easiest one always. So according to this, so this is the easiest one problem. You can see the problem statement, and you can see the time limit here mentioned, memory limit mentioned here, and you can see the input format and output format. Take input, give output, and you can submit the code here. You can click the submit code button and paste your code here. Choose the problem that was A this time, and you can click the submit button. Okay, so that's what about submission on codeforces. Now where you can search various problems, as you did search on codechef, was like you can just visit the problem set section. In the problem set section you can find all the problems. You can add a difficulty range that you want. The lesser the difficulty, the higher will be the probability to solve. So you can also sort these questions on the basis of difficulty and number of submissions. So you can click on number of submissions, sort on basis of number of submissions. This is the highest number of times submitted questions, and you can sort this as well on the basis of difficulty. So this is the minimum highest level difficulty question, that is gift set, one of the highest level difficulty questions. You can sort it on this thing. Sorry, 35,000. This is the highest number of highest difficult question in this code forces. One of the highest questions, and also you can sort it on the descending order. So this is the one of the easier question. Watermelon is the easiest. Way too long words is the second one, and these are the easiest contests with the maximum number of with the minimum rating, minimum difficulty, and the submission number of submissions, high number of submissions. So you can try any one of them. Just write a code, analyze the code, submit it. You will be getting wrong answer TLE. Based upon that, you can just have to optimize the code. There is, suppose if you want to look at the editorial, there are most of the problems have editorial mentioned here in this part. Let's give you here in this part. It's not a contest column, I guess. So in the contest column, there are some editorial mentioned here. In this part, you can see the editorials. This is the one of the first contests of the code first. That's why it's not mentioned, I guess. So here the editorial is mentioned. I will tell you by some other example right now. So after this editorial is done, you can see like where is my problem, and you can also see your submissions. And in the code forces, this is the best thing that I will tell you right now. And also one thing, first of all, I will tell you, you can also search problem on the basis of topic in the code forces. Suppose you want to do the problem of dynamic programming. So what you will do, you search add tag DP, and you will get all the problems which maybe you solved with DP, and you just sort it with the minimum difficulty. So here is the sorry, it's the maximum. So I'll click one more time, so it will be sorted on the from the minimum. So here you will be getting the problems with the DP tag and the minimum difficulty. You can also solve with DP and minimum difficulty. So that's why if you want to solve with a tag or a topic as well, you can do in code forces. You can solve any problem. Also in code forces, you can see your solutions and submissions. What you can do, you just visit your profile. So this is the profile, on profile looks like on code forces. This is the graph you get. This is the newbie, pupil, specialist, expert, candidate, master, master, international master, grandmaster, international grandmaster, and so on. These are the toppers of this site, and this is the graph how much you code on every day, and this is the total number of problems you solved on this site. So these such things are like these things are mentioned here. So what you can do is if you want to see what your code goes wrong with, you just click on your code. Just click on your code, this part. This will open your code in this window, submission window, and you can just simply scroll down and see what's the test 1 case output of your code, test 2 case, test 3 case, test 4 case, test 5 case. Suppose my code was wrong on test 5, so it's give me answer like, okay, wrong answer on the test 5, and this was the wrong thing. And just the all analysis of your code that you can see. Okay, so that's how you can utilize the power of code forces. It's a decent platform. Every co-programming competitive programming coder prefers it, and they generally solve problems. As you can see, the toppers of the code jam are also here, like the tourist. Venky Tourist is the winner of Google Code Jam from past 7 years. So this is the best coding competitive programming platform. There is a one also that is AtCoder, that is not that much popular these days, but it is also a decent contest and decent level contest. You can check it out, any of them. You just have to click on the upcoming contest, and any contest, suppose this heuristic contest, for example, just have to register and click on the task sections. Like this will not start it. Let's see the previous contest so that I can show you there. This is the task section. You can solve the problem same way. Click on submit, and the problems will be submitted as in the other platforms. Like you can see, just tell you. You can enter the code, you can choose a pro task and your language, and just submit button, and it will be submitted and judged accordingly. If you see the wrong answer or time limit exceed, you can just check it out there. Okay, so that's about the AtCoder. You can see that here. Now let's come to the slide. That is one more topic left, that is resources from where you can learn complex programming. Okay, so these are the best 5 resources that I feel are good. One is cpalgorithm.com, second is Geeks for Geeks, third is Hacker Earth, and fourth is YouTube, and fifth is CF Blogs. CF Blogs is Code Forces blogs. YouTube, you can search any topic on YouTube, and you can follow the channels like Aditya Verma, and there are a lot of people, Priyansh Agarwal, and there are a lot of people that are on YouTube as well that teaches computer programming, or that shows you the concepts of computer programming, and also gives solutions of the problems just after the contest over on of these Code Forces and CodeChef. They provide solutions, so they help a lot. You can visit them. and learn from them on YouTube, and these are also free of cost. On HackerEarth, as I told you, with the problem with the data structure, they also test the description of the blog, like what are the things that are to be used and what are the things that can be used, or what is the basics of this data structure. So these things you can also use in HackerEarth blogs. Apart from this, I will show you the CF blogs, Geeks for Geeks, and what is this? Geeks for Geeks, you may be familiar with. You have maybe seen very of the data structures on the Geeks for Geeks issues, your doubts or exams or anything. So here you can see Geeks for Geeks, and you can search on the competitive programming section, and you get a lot of blogs. You can get to learn a lot of these. Like these are some of the tricks: fast input output, greedy methods, dynamic programming, geometry, and these are a lot of topics and questions mentioned here, like cadence algorithm, coordinate compression, sliding window. These are all some of the algorithms that are generally not used in day-to-day programming, but are very much useful in competitive programming. You can head on to Geeks for these, and it is completely free of cost. You can learn any of these through articles, and if some article is not understandable by you, can just type the topic on YouTube, and you will get some good explanation there as well. And also, apart from this code forces, you have some blogs here. You can check out the blogs of your interest, like what you can do and what are your like somehow you want to more about time limit exceed and want to know. There is also a good section. You can also head on to this section and search on the Google, like code forces blog on dynamic programming. So here you can see there is a blog of code forces on DP tutorial problem list. There are some problems of DP, and you can use these things. So these YouTube tutorials by Ericto, and these are mentioned. Like there are some decent blogs, like you can use, and you can help. They will help a lot to boost your skills, and because these are designed by some of the good problem programmers of the globe, so these are very much user friendly and obviously free of cost. So these are the things that you can use. And one the site is cpalgorithms.com. cpalgorithm.com is basically designed for competitive programmers. It covers most of the algorithms that are used in competitive programming. It covers the mm, beginner algorithms as well, and the tough algorithms as well. Suppose in dynamic programming, I like to check about the dynamic programming divide and conquer. There is a section on this, and you can see anything you have. These things have a great explanation of such algorithms with the sample code and practice problems as well. You can check out, move to practice problems, and you can see and try solving these topics, and you can read these topics on your free time. And if you want to learn, you can check out, okay, which topics I'm missing on, and you can check out those, and this will improve your skills in competitive programming as well. So yeah, that's all from my side. Yeah. So anything else that anyone has issue, anyone questions or something?
Thank you for the awesome session, Devang. I think our audience liked it, and Sudhanshu Sharma says thank you for these tips.
Thank you.
So I hope they liked it, and if they have any questions, or audience, if you have any questions, you could drop it in the chat. I guess they don't. So
Yeah.
thank you for the awesome session. It was really awesome knowing about all about computer programming, all about the platforms.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.